Have you been trying tirelessly to reach that successful place, the place where you think all your dreams are going to come true, you've got the money coming in, you've got the time, all those things, and yet it just seems like it just keeps moving further out and you can't actually quite reach it? Hey friend, I totally understand that. And in this episode today, we are going to dig into the enemies of success, because there's some really cool lessons that I learned when I heard this message. So I want to share them with you. So see you on the other side. Hey friend, welcome to her Prosperous Journey podcast. My name is Melanie Borbo and I have some cool stuff to share with you. So 4 enemies or obstacles to success. We are going to dig into them because I think these affect all of us at some point. So the first one is fear. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of the unknown. These things can basically stop us before we ever get started, right? Like, have you thought about starting a business, but yet you're absolutely afraid? Like, and you got to do all the research and you got to do all the things and you got to know all the things before you can actually take action? Yep, you're not alone. That is a huge thing. But you know what it was? For me, it's not a problem starting. I have no problem jumping in. I have no problem taking a risk. I have no problem doing any of those things. But what I discovered is that I had a fear of failure. I had to really work through that with God because, not a fear of failure. I had a fear of success. Because in my mind, who was I to be successful, right? Like, who was I to say that I could have all these things and do all those things? So I've really had to lean in with the Lord and kind of work through who He says I am, not who I say that I am. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that was kind of a big thing for me. So what are some of the symptoms of fear? Procrastination. This is where we keep saying we're going to do the thing. You've heard the person who's always talking about, when I have time, I'm going to build a business, or when I, have more money, I'm going to start that thing, or, it's always procrastination. Oh, I got to get this thing done first. I got to get that thing done. And then I'll do the thing that actually means something. Right. I've been there lots in my past where, I knew what I had to do. Like when I first started my very first network marketing business many years ago, I always knew, like, I would be on the calls where they would teach you how to do something. And I'd be like, okay, as soon as I get off this call, I am so going to do the thing, which at that point was calling people, right? That was picking up the phone and that was calling people. And, but I would procrastinate until the time of my work that, the hours that I had set aside to work on that business were over. And in the meantime, I would have cleaned off my desk. I would have sent some emails. I would have done some things. But I wouldn't have actually done the thing. So procrastination is a really huge problem for many people, and it is a symptom of fear. Another one is, I mentioned it already, but analysis paralysis, where we have to research, and we never actually implement anything. So that's something that we need to get past. And then excuses, right? We can have 100 million excuses as to why we're not doing something or why it's not working, and this is like, I've been there. I'm so, even to this day, I can still make excuses for something if I don't want to actually dig into it. Because for me, looking at numbers, looking at the analytics, like that kind of stuff, I just procrastinate on it and I make excuses as to why I don't need to do it. Because for some reason, it seems like it's really a hard thing to do. Just like taxes, right? When you think about doing taxes and preparing to have your taxes done, all of those things, it's like no, it's too overwhelming, it's too hard, until you actually get in and get the thing done, right? Like, have you ever felt that where you're dreading doing taxes? Again, I'm speaking from experience, but it just seems so hard. And then once you get it done, you're just like, hey, that was actually not even hard. That wasn't even that bad. And so that's kind of what we need to look at. But what are some solutions to fear? And I'm going to tell you that action is always the the thing that breaks our fear, that stops the excuses, it's always action. So whenever we get into action, whenever we do something in the direction of our goal, we will combat any excuse. I had a mentor once tell me that you could have excuses or you can have results, but you can't have them both. And so in order to have results, you have to take action. And that doesn't it doesn't matter what it is. If you want to lose weight, you have to put on your shoes and go for a walk, right? Or if you want to build a business, you have to take the first step, which is maybe figure out what kind of business you want to start, or maybe you've started it. Now it's now you have to do the thing, the income producing activity. How do you do the thing? And so we can get we can't get confident in something until we've actually done it over and over again. And so in the beginning, it's just blind action. And perfectionism is the thing that we think it has to be perfect. So that therefore we don't think we can take the action. But again, that just ties back into analysis paralysis, which then leads to excuses. And the whole thing is just a crazy cycle. So we need to get into action. Action is the only, because it's not even going to matter if you change your mindset. Yes, that does make a difference, right? We obviously have to be thinking the right thoughts and telling ourselves the right things. But if we can't do something, we may never be able to tell ourselves something different. Does that make sense? If we don't actually get up and go for a walk, it doesn't matter how strong our mindset is that we're going to lose weight. It's not going to happen. So action. And it can be a baby step. It can be a baby step in that direction of that goal. You don't have to eat the whole elephant at a time. You just take that first little bite. Make sense? So that's the first one. That's fear. The next obstacle or enemy to success is doubt. And what are some of the symptoms of doubting? Before I get into symptoms, I just heard something. It was called the emotional, I have it written down here. Where was it? The emotional cycles of change. So when you first see something, so let's say you're flipping through, podcasts, or you're online or something, and you see this business opportunity, and man, you are just filled with uninformed optimism. So this means, oh, this looks so fantastic. I could totally do this. This is so easy. I can't wait to do this. And then what happens is you go a little bit further down the cycle, and now you get to a place called informed pessimism. So now all of a sudden you're starting to dig into it and look into it, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, that's too hard. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that one. I don't know how to do that. And all of a sudden, all these things, all these ways of self-sabotage will pop up and just rear their ugly heads, right? You can't do that. You're not smart enough. You don't know text. You don't have the money to start. You don't have time, blah, 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 all these things. And so that's your informed pessimism. And then from there, you move into a place called the valley of despair. And this is where most people quit. This is where they give up on their dreams. This is where they, everything is too hard for them. They're a victim. Everything is bad. And it's in that place that many people will see the next opportunity, right? They see the next opportunity, and then they're like, that's going to be so much easier. I better go do that. Well, guess what happens? You're just going to go through the exact same cycle if you continue to jump off at that point. However, but if you push through, if you get in that valley of despair and you get to learn things, get a mentor and you learn things, and you're learning the skills that you need to succeed right there in that place, without a different opportunity or a different business or a different whatever. When you get into that valley of despair, but you stay there and you really lock in and you learn and you learn and you learn, that's going to take you to a place called informed optimism. Informed optimism is when all of a sudden you're like, okay, I know that this is going to take some time. It's going to take some work. I know what I have to do, and I can do this. I can do this. And then from there you have success. So do you see why so many people get stuck in that valley of despair, and they try the next thing and the next thing? And that's why they can say, oh, I've tried, so many different businesses, and I've been there, man. I'm so, you guys, I am so speaking from experience. I have been in that cycle. I don't know how many times. And it isn't until I've now decided that I've locked on. I've locked in, I've locked on, and I've got to go for it. That I will get out. Like, that's the thing. That's the only way that you can get out of that valley of despair. And that's what I'm seeing now, is because I've locked in, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I get what I have to do. I know where I have to go. I know how to get there, and I got this. So the self-sabotage thing is a big deal. We can stop ourselves over and over and over again, just simply because we are fearful, we're doubting. The next symptom of doubt can come in the form of shiny object syndrome. And I think I've talked about this on other podcasts before, but this is where you just like I said, in that valley of despair, all of a sudden now you're taken off in a new direction, or you're trying something different, or you're, like honestly, I almost did this with TikTok. I don't really like TikTok that much. And if I don't know, I guess it's growing on me, but, I was really close to not going back to TikTok. Like, I was just like, I think I'm done. I'm just going to do my podcast, and I'm just going to be on Facebook, and I'm not going to go back to TikTok. But you know what? I took it to the Lord, which I do. Like, I love to have my divine business meetings and take things to God. And from that place, he said to me, or whatever, it was just in my heart, in my mind, that what about all the people that have already followed you on TikTok? What about all the people that are coming back to your content, and they want to learn from you? Are you just going to leave them? You're just going to let them all be left there? And I thought, oh my goodness, I can't do that. So I say that to say that I'm still on TikTok, and I will be probably going to Facebook. I think, I've sort of avoided Facebook, but in any case, these are things. See, this is what this podcast is for. As I'm learning and growing, I want to take you on the journey with me so that you can learn and grow too. And that maybe you can have a little bit more speed behind you than what I did when I first started with my own business many, many, many years ago. The next thing about doubt, the next symptom of doubt is inconsistent effort. And again, this is what I just talked about, right? It's like, oh, I know I'm supposed to show up on TikTok, but I don't want to. I'm going to go do this instead. That's inconsistent effort. And so, those are the things that you have to watch for. And also another symptom of doubt is needing other people to tell you that you're on the right track. This is a big one, because we're as humans, we're just creatures of validation. We're creatures of needing to feel like we're a part of something. And that's the cool thing about being a part of the community that I'm a part of, because everybody is so willing to encourage and validate others. And I'm finding that you don't need as much external validation when you can get it from your own people, right? Your own people inside of the community. I mean, this community has over 47,000 people in it now. And yeah, it's a really beautiful place to be, to learn and to be uplifted. So the cure for doubt is to stand in faith, is to know that, okay, I'm hitting that valley of despair, but I have to keep going. I have to show up for the people, even the 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people that are trusted me enough to follow me. I need to show up for those people. I need to do the thing. I need to be there for those people. And when we keep showing up, we will start to start to help people see the transformation, right? Like, we have to keep showing up in order for the people that we've been called to help to get the transformation that they're seeking. So that's the second one. Okay. That's the second one. And the third obstacle to success is lack of knowledge. And this is simply making the same mistake over and over and over again and not actually ever changing it. You just keep thinking, well, I'll just do it again. It should happen. It should fix itself. Well, the reality is that it doesn't. It doesn't fix itself. We need to learn new skills. If we keep hitting the same roadblock over and over and over again, we need to learn new skills. We need to have someone mentor us, have someone, help us. That's what we need. And so when we don't have the knowledge, we can miss a lot of opportunities that are put before us. Because if we think we know something, but yet it shows up in a different way, we won't be prepared to act on it, right? And then the more often that we don't act on what we know we can do or should do, the more insecure we become, the more we doubt ourselves. So it's this vicious cycle, of, never feeling like you're good enough, never feeling like you could actually be successful. And it's because of the actions that we do or we don't take, right? It's all very, very connected. So the solution to lack of knowledge is obviously to be humble, to stay humble, and to really surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, with people that know things that you don't know. You want to be around people that can take you to places that you haven't been able to get to on your own. And that's why, like I say, having a mastermind or being a part of a community is really, really beneficial, because more often than not, there are people inside that group that have already gone beyond where you are. And so they can now help you to get to where you want to go to. So you want to, and the other thing is I'm back to that taking action. You have to take action on what you learn. If you are inside of a community or you're inside of a mastermind or something like that, and a mentor, someone who has been where you are and has now surpassed it, is telling you to do something, you have to do it. You have to take the action, because otherwise, it's just empty words and empty knowledge. Knowledge is useless unless we actually put it into action. Does that make sense? And then the fourth one is comfort. And you probably are wondering, why is comfort an enemy to success? Because what happens when you get comfortable? I know what happens when I get comfortable. It's like, I don't really have to do the thing. Like, I'm good. It's when we are in that pain place, that painful moment, that we go, I need that pain is so great that we have to do something different. But if there's not a lot of pain, right? If we're just in a place of comfort in our life, let's say, our bills are all paid and we get to go on a trip, once a year or something, and we got a car that works well, or whatever, like, if that's it, then you can think, I don't need to start an online business. It's too much work. I can just sit here and I'm good, right? I just got what I need and I'm good. And even though I'm all about being content, like, I believe that the Bible tells us that we should be content wherever we are, whatever season we're in. And so I'm all about that. I've been content with poverty. I've been content with success. I've been content everywhere in between. And I believe that's important. I think we should do that. But also understand that I heard this lady, this mentor, tell me that, and this was me. She's like, so many people say, I don't need to make more than, like $10,000 is enough for me to make for my business and I'll be good. And she said, but that's actually a really selfish way to think about it. And then that means that the money that you make is all about you. She said, what happens if you just said, Lord, I'm ready for whatever you have for me. I will do whatever you want from me, because the more money that we make, the more of an impact that we get to make on other people. The more we get to help those in need. We get to help those further their education. We get to help, whatever, build the orphanage or start the hospital, or, you know what I mean? So when it becomes not so much about us and what we need, and instead, wow, Lord, what can we do with the money that you bring to me from this business? What can we do? How many lives can we change? How much impact can we actually make? That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that is purpose. That is your purpose, right? And so when we know what our purpose is, now comfort doesn't have the same pull on us. When we know what our purpose is, we are going to get up and we're going to get the thing done. We're going to start the day. We're going to do the video. We're going to do the podcast. We're going to take the action that we want to take, because we have something bigger driving us than just our need to have our bills paid or to have our, a fancy new car or whatever the case may be. When there is something much bigger than ourselves, all of a sudden we don't have time for doubt. We don't have time for fear. We don't have time for self-sabotage. We definitely do not have time just to be comfortable. So that, to me, is the most important thing, is that once we know why we are doing the things we are doing and really understand how the enemy works to stop us from that purpose, it lights a fire, and all of a sudden we can do things that we never thought we could do before. And my friend, if that's you, if you want to learn skills, if you want to ask questions, for starters, if you want to ask questions, I'm going to be doing a Zoom on January 2nd, which is the Thursday evening. I'm going to do a Zoom. It's free. It's question and answer. Like, what kind of questions do you have that might be burning on you that you just like someone to help you answer? I'm going to be doing a Zoom. So if you want to get on that Zoom, just get on my email list, come to dailypaidblessings.com. Put your email in, you'll see some videos about, building an online business. But even if that's not your thing, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Just get on my list. And from there, I'll send out a Zoom link with the details for that question and answer call that I'm going to do next week. So I pray, my dear friend, that this blesses you. And again, I would love to hear, because being a podcaster is kind of a lonely business. Nobody talks back. It's always me talking. So if this has blessed you in any way, then I pray that you leave me a review on Apple Podcasts, or email me at melanie@buildingimpactmakers.com. And I'd be happy to hear from you. So take care, my friend. God bless, and I will see you soon. How much longer can you afford to wait before taking control of your time and finances? What would life look like with a passive income from an online business that you could build from anywhere? If you had the support and the resources to succeed, what kind of impact could you make for yourself and your family? On this podcast, you will find simple solutions to help you start and grow your own online business that will pay you daily, even when you are enjoying adventures with your loved ones. My mission is to equip you to be wealthy in both time and money, with digital marketing skills, tips to overcome adversity, and steps to living out your purpose. If you are ready to say yes to a more rewarding and fulfilling life where you are making a bigger impact and transforming people's lives, then you're going to love this podcast. Hey, my name is Melanie. I'm a wife, a mother, and a blessed believer. I tried over the years many different side hustles to try and make a passive income and to live this life of freedom that everybody talks about. But what I finally realized is that I needed a step-by-step plan to keep me focused and consistent. I needed to link arms with others who were doing what I wanted to do. And now I'm excited to get to share with you what I'm learning. If you are ready to finally find freedom and own your own online business that helps you to never miss another family fun adventure and to make an impact while sitting on the beach, then this podcast is for you. So strap on your hiking boots and let's climb this mountain together. Thanks for listening. I pray that this episode blessed you. And if you do feel blessed, would you please share it with someone else who may need to hear this information? And also, if you could just take a couple of seconds and write a written review, I would absolutely appreciate it, because A, it lights me up, warms my heart to hear from you, but also it helps other people to find this podcast who may need this information. So I thank you, my friend. I'll be praying for you, and I look so forward to seeing you on the other side. Take care, and God bless.